Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking aim at what I think is one of the biggest paradoxes in the consumer packaged goods world.
Oh, yeah. Which one is that?
This massive, and I mean massive, investment in artificial intelligence that is yielding, well, frustratingly small returns.
Right.
We've synthesized a lot of deep analysis for this one, from C3 Centricity, McKinsey, Bain, all the major research houses.
And we've tailored these insights specifically for you, the mid-level CPG.
Exactly. The person who's actually trying to bridge that gap between these AI pilots and, actual profitability.
And I think our mission today is really to give you a practical blueprint to escape what the analysts are grimly calling pilot purgatory.
Pilot purgatory, I like that.
Because you've likely launched a bunch of these AI projects. But the real question, the one that matters, is are these initiatives measurably impacting your P&L, your profit and loss statement on a recurring basis?
And we have to start with the uncomfortable truth here because the data is pretty stark.
It is.
Research shows that over 70% of mid-sized CPG companies have launched AI pilots, focusing on things like demand forecasting or media mix modeling.
The usual suspects.
The usual suspects. Yet fewer than 10% of those companies can point to genuine, measurable commercial results tied to those efforts.
That is a staggering rate of wasted resource.
Yeah.
And stalled ambition.
It is. But here's the flip side of that, right? That gap represents enormous untapped potential.
Absolutely. Analysts consistently quantify this opportunity. We're talking about capturing 8 to 16% of revenue for a major CPG player. That's real money.
And that value is currently locked away. And the critical point is that it's locked away due to operational challenges, not technical ones.
But if the problem isn't the technology, it's not the algorithms or the servers.
What is the core issue that needs fixing right now?
It's overwhelmingly a failure in the operating model.
The operating model.
Yes. That, combined with a really significant skills gap among the people who actually run the business. The systems can predict, but the business unit heads, the real owners, they often lack the confidence or the structure to frame the right financial questions.
Or how to interpret the output.
Exactly. And most importantly, how to mandate consistent action that actually changes the plan.
Okay, so let's unpack this operational failure, starting with ownership. When we look at the source material, a recurring theme is teams spending months just chasing tools, taking dozens of vendor demos, running proofs of concept. Instead of chasing measurable financial results, it just becomes an activity metric.
It's a way to look busy, and it's a trap.
Yeah.
The crucial turning point, and this has to be a leadership intervention, is when the BU head steps in.
And does what?
And reclaims ownership of one specific concrete decision. One that moves money every single month.
Yeah.
You have to stop treating AI as this interesting lab curiosity.
And plug it into the real world.
And force it to plug directly into the real workflow where dollars are actually being allocated.
Yeah. That sounds simple, but I imagine it's incredibly difficult to execute. I mean, how do you stop a high-performing team that's already busy from getting distracted by the next shiny object?
It takes focused discipline. We saw a great example of this with a large U.S. snacks business. They were the poster child for pilot purgatory.
Oh.
Yeah. They ran for 12 months, had 3 simultaneous proofs of concept running, invested heavily in data scientists, and had 0 commercial rollouts.
The team must have been exhausted.
Exhausted and demoralized. And what broke the cycle was the BU head finally mandating a halt to all new demos.
Stop everything.
Stopped it all. The only priority became answering one specific business question. How can we lift the forecast accuracy for our top 3 SKUs in the Midwest region by 10%?
Very specific.
Super specific.
Yeah.
And tied directly to reduced spoilage and better shelf availability. A clear P&L impact. They just stripped away everything else until that single use case paid for itself. It forced clarity.
So for our listener who feels, completely overwhelmed by all the options, the challenge is pretty simple but powerful.
What's that?
If you were forced to focus on just one thing, what would change the fastest in your world if one recurring monthly decision became, say, 20% sharper or 20% faster because of an AI input?
That's the question. The suggested action is to empower one brand manager with one financial question to improve this quarter. And here's the non-negotiable part.
Okay.
You must tie the model output directly, immediately to a recurring decision-making meeting.
Not a side dashboard.
No. If the model output is only going to some dashboard that nobody checks, you're still in purgatory. You have to refuse those side quests until the first one is producing cash. Now, let's drill down into capability. Because like we said, the problem isn't the hardware.
Right.
The analyst consensus is rock solid on this. People and culture, your talent strategy, are at the heart of scaling success. Companies struggle to scale value, not to start pilots.
It really is a case of skills, not servers. You can have the most powerful data stack imaginable, but if your brand managers and sales leaders don't know how to query it,
Or even trust the results.
it's worthless.
Precisely. Take the European dairy team case study. They had invested smartly in their data stack, partnered with an excellent IT firm. Technically, everything was fine. But results lagged because the commercial decision makers, the brand and insights managers, they were unsure. They didn't really know how to frame the questions effectively.
And they probably lacked the confidence to change a multi-million-dollar marketing plan based on a machine's recommendation.
Of course, that hesitation is completely understandable given the stakes, but it's also incredibly costly.
So what gave them that confidence boost?
They realized their year of stalled pilots wasn't an IT problem, it was a psychological one. And the solution was incredibly targeted.
Yeah.
A 6-week upskilling sprint.
Okay, what did that involve?
It wasn't exotic training in Python or anything. It was just 2 hours a week, working side by side with a business analyst, using only their real current brand data. They just focused on creating a safe space to practice framing questions.
And probably to argue with the model's output?
Yes, to argue against it until they trusted it. Confidence soared, and the first commercial rollout, a simple pricing optimization, followed within 2 months.
So this is where the rubber meets the road. If you're going to launch a focused, say, 30-day internal sprint to fix this skills gap, what are the 4 essential practical skills that need to be taught?
Okay, there are 4 really practical steps that link the data to the decision. First, how to write a sharp, financially measurable question, not a technical one.
Okay, a business question.
Right. Second, how to judge the model output quality. This means recognizing when the output defies common sense or business logic.
I see.
Third, how to actually act on the output. What specific change do I make to the live plan or the budget this week?
And the 4th.
And fourth, how to document that change, the results, and the process so you can teach someone else to repeat it next month. That documentation step is almost always missed.
All right, let's shift focus now from who owns the effort to where to hunt for these fast returns. Once you have the skilled team and that clear ownership, you need to identify the use cases that aren't, resource hogs.
Yes, exactly. Analysts point to 3 early hunting grounds that pay back really quickly.
Why those 3?
Because the data already exists and the decisions repeat with high frequency. You want to look for things that happen weekly or biweekly.
So what are they?
The 3 quick payback areas are 1, demand shaping or basic pricing insights, 2, customer and channel management basics, like optimizing retailer media spend, and 3, foundational supply chain functions.
The U.S. Beverages brand case is a perfect illustration of this kind of hyper-focus. They realized they were trying to boil the ocean with a massive forecast overhaul.
They were. When the real pain was actually hyper-local, they skipped the big scary project. Instead, they targeted a double-digit lift in forecast accuracy for one very specific summer ski use set.
Just one set of products.
A group of 8 seasonal products. Why? Because stockouts on those 8 items were demonstrably killing their market share every June through August. It was a quantifiable seasonal pain point.
And what was the key to their success procedurally?
The critical move wasn't just building the model. It was plugging that model's output directly into the weekly S&OP, the Sales and Operations Planning meeting.
So it wasn't just a suggestion on a dashboard somewhere?
No, it changed the weekly allocation plan immediately. Availability improved in 6 weeks, and the channel team saw the results on the shelf right away.
That speed is what confirms the ROI. So if a listener is shortlisting potential use cases right now, how should they score the candidates to pick the right starting point?
You shortlist maybe 3 candidates and then ruthlessly score them against 3 criteria.
Which are?
Existing data readiness. Owner clarity. Is there a single named person who can change the plan next week? And payback speed.
That's it.
That's it. And the governing rule has to be skip clever, pick clear. Do not chase exotic AI. Start with the use case that has a business owner who can change the plan next month and a metric the CFO accepts as real money. And if we take a slightly broader view here and connect this to the bigger picture of CPG's success, we're seeing companies win by linking their AI use cases to joint value creation with their key retail partners.
Oh, okay.
Bain has identified this collaborative approach as a major differentiator for 2024 and 2025.
That feels strategically vital. I mean, the relationship between CPG brands and retailers can often be adversarial.
It can be, But in a zero-sum game, finding joint value is the only way forward.
So how does that work in practice?
Well, consider the EU cereal brand that co-built a promo and assortment model with a major grocery retailer. The technical achievement wasn't the main lesson, the governance was. They worked from joint hypotheses, shared clean data, and used one combined dashboard visible to both parties. This led to fewer overall promotions, but the ones they ran delivered better lift.
And move product faster through the DC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was shared, transparent accountability.
Beyond just collaborations, CPG brands are under massive pressure from private label, from store brands, which just drives this continuous pressure on price and value. How does AI help CPG leaders defend their branded position against that?
AI forces brands to rebuild their growth around crystal-clear price pack roles and indisputable differentiation. You have seconds at the shelf to communicate value.
Not paragraphs.
No. AI helps you find and test those precise claims faster. You need instant reasons to believe.
The North American refrigerated brand case study really operationalized this idea of a job-to-be-done mapping. How did they use AI to refine those claims?
They meticulously mapped every single pack size they sold to a specific consumer job.
Like what?
The smaller pack for trial, the large pack for the pantry, the multi-pack for a lunchbox. Then, using model-assisted testing for things like claim text and image placement, they identified the specific wording that boosted pickup at the shelf.
And what was the key learning?
It was often fewer words, but bolder, more credible reasons to believe. This detailed work also significantly improved the returns on their retailer media spend.
Okay, so even with those early quick wins, we have to address the scaling slump,
Yes.
which World Economic Forum research identifies as the trap that follows pilot success. You get the first win, but then the momentum just dies.
It does, because the internal systems, the skills, and the decision rights, they fail to keep pace with the successful experiment. This failure to scale is the most expensive part of the AI journey. You need to institutionalize it.
How do you do that?
A very successful Southeast Asian snacks brand found a simple way out of the slump by imposing one governance rule on all teams.
What was the rule?
No new experiments could proceed without an owner, outcome, and operating moment.
Owner, outcome, and operating moment. That sounds like a powerful filter for complexity. How did they apply that in practice?
It was ruthless simplicity. Every potential use case had a named business owner who was responsible for the results.
That's the owner.
Right. Each one had a single metric tied directly to money, a lift in margin, a reduction in waste. That's the outcome.
Okay.
And the operating moment was the non-negotiable part. It had to plug into a recurring mandatory forum, a meeting, where the model's output changed the plan.
So any idea that couldn't meet those three criteria...
So it immediately failed at the gate, regardless of how innovative the technology was.
We're also seeing major CPG movements in the generative AI space, which proves that governance and scale are possible even at the enterprise level if the structure is there.
Absolutely. The global player behind brands like Oreo and Milka, for example, invested over $40 million in a generative system.
But not just to be flashy.
Not at all. It was to achieve a 30 to 50% cut in creative costs and vastly speed up campaign production. The scale is possible because they have strict guidelines and, crucially, a centralized governance system for how the output is reviewed by humans.
And we're seeing this elsewhere, too.
We are. A luxury group scaled an internal AI platform supporting tens of thousands of employees for planning, pricing, and design. Shared data and standardized governance tools are the unsung heroes of scaling.
So if scale comes from these operating model shifts, what are the 3 deep-seated habits that leaders need to stop doing this quarter to clear the path for growth?
First, stop chasing tools without a question. Your competitive edge is the sharp, financially relevant question only your team can ask and act on.
Okay, what's second?
Second, stop treating data strategy as exclusively IT's problem. Growth demands shared ownership across brand, insights, sales, finance, and IT.
And the third habit to break?
Stop reporting activity as if it equals impact. The entire focus must be on quantifiable lift in revenue, margin, or speed. If your new AI project doesn't change the decision in a real meeting next month, you must pause it. So for those mid-level leaders listening, let's try to provide a practical 90-day roadmap. This is drawn directly from cross-industry practices that have led to rapid scaling.
Let's make this really prescriptive. If I'm starting tomorrow, what do weeks 1 and 2 look like?
Weeks 1 and 2 are all about clarity. You must quantify one specific decision where you know money is leaking today. You select a use case where data already exists and you have a visible owner.
And then you write the question.
And you write your SHART question. We cannot stress this enough. Something like, can we lift forecast accuracy for our top 8 summer SKUs by 12% and reduce stockouts by 8% by the end of Q3? That clear sentence becomes your entire project charter.
Sharp and measurable. What about weeks 3 through 6 when the building starts?
You immediately form one small, focused, cross-functional pod. This should be 4 to 6 people.
Who's in it?
The named business owner, an insights lead, a data analyst, and a single IT partner. Their mandate is to build a minimal viable model and, crucially, plug the output directly into that decision meeting we talked about.
They're not building a platform.
They are not building a platform. They are building a decision assist tool.
And then weeks 7 through 12, the payoff period. This is what determines whether we proceed or stop.
That's right. You roll the output into the plan for one channel or one region only. You track the single commercial metric you set at the start.
The stockout percentage, the revenue lift, whatever it is.
Exactly. And immediately before you expand, you must prepare a simple copy and paste guide. You document the process and the governance so another business unit can replicate the success without reinventing the wheel. That documentation is what makes scaling repeatable.
And as an ongoing practice, to maintain that capability momentum, analysts suggest weaving upskilling into the regular working rhythm.
Exactly. Move it away for these big external training sessions. Add a short, recurring upskilling slot, say 45 minutes every other week, to your team calendar.
And use current data.
Use current data, celebrate the business impact, and focus on the commercial results, not the model's complexity. The goal is business confidence, not data science degrees.
And for anyone who needs help structuring that first crucial step, defining the financial business question or fixing those bottlenecks in the operating model, you can reference the analytical frameworks that informed this dive.
Tools that can help systematize the approach.
Exactly. Like CatCite, which helps leaders define that highly specific commercial brief for their AI projects, or QC2R, which is a framework designed specifically to fix those decision-making bottlenecks in the operating model. They just structure exactly what we've been discussing.
So I guess our final summary is that capability wins over complexity. Every single time. The teams that successfully combine human judgment with smart tools are the ones that get ahead.
Right.
The key difference between a company that starts 5 pilots and a company that scales successfully is a completely rewired operating model.
Yeah.
One that enforces ownership and consistent accountability.
It's not a shiny or new piece of software.
No, it's not.
And your role as a mid-level leader is to act as that internal sponsor, to ruthlessly protect one working pod and to make complexity simple and measurable for the rest of the organization. Teams rally behind leaders who deliver results.
And careers move when results move.
That's the bottom line.
So we'll leave you with one final thought, and it's based on that governance rule we discussed. Focus relentlessly on the starting point. If a new AI build does not change a decision in a real meeting next month, it should wait.
So ask yourself this right now. Which one recurring meeting on your calendar, S&OP, budget review, brand deep dive? Which one needs an improved AI-driven output next month? And who will be the owner to make that output happen? Start there and make it non-negotiable.